Hi, my name is Mark Brown, and today I'm going to talk to you about the positive impact a plant-based diet can have on the economy. How is that possible, you ask? People are resources. It can be argued people are the greatest asset that the economy has. People provide labor and services necessary to contribute to our economic system. We also stimulate the economy as consumers. The problem with meat is it's not healthy and, well, it's delicious. We as Americans love to eat meat. We do not love to eat vegetables. Therefore, we tend to overconsume when it comes to meat. This overeating can lead to obesity and various health risks. Rather than spouting off secondhand knowledge, this speech has given me the opportunity to find research on this topic. First, let's talk turkey, or more specifically, chicken. Did you know that chicken consumption has tripled over the last 50 years? No problem, right? Chicken is lean meat. Well, the problem with this lean meat, according to the Journal of Nutrition, is it's actually associated with more weight gain than any other form of meat. That means everyone who is avoiding red meat is actually gaining more weight in the long run. There's also a study from BMC Nutrition that says that was concluded that meat in general leads to a higher BMI. So I think it's fair to say that meat consumption definitely leads to obesity. So why is everyone eating chicken anyway? That is because red meat consumption has been associated with causing cancer. According to a study in the British Journal of Nutrition, there is a higher risk of cancer in males who consume over 300 grams of red meat weekly. This includes thyroid, gastric, and colorectal cancer. You definitely don't want that. It's also interesting to note that the study found that BMI over 25 affected cancer risk significantly. I hope this proves that eating a primarily meat-based diet is bad for your health. I also feel like it's one of those things that we already knew, but you just don't really want to admit. So I'd like to switch gears now to another resource, land. According to NASA, 75% of the Amazon jungle today is used for cattle grazing. Do you know how much land is used in the US for cattle grazing? According to Bloomberg, nearly 41%. Now, I would also like to note the amount of land used just to feed livestock. That's almost 1/4 of that 41%. Now, whether or not this land could be better utilized is debatable. I've heard that if we all went vegan, that we'd starve to death. Well, it seems to me if we turned all that cattle pasture into vegetable crops, we wouldn't have a problem. But I think people are really trying to say that vegetables don't provide enough nourishment, which is kind of silly. So I had to look that up as well. In this obesity study, it was concluded that not only can you get enough protein from plants, but the protein you get is better. The study also concluded that lower income families could reduce costs by switching to a plant-based diet. Sorry, I got a little off track there. We're talking about the economy. So let's talk about the cost of raising farm animals, shall we? According to Kyle Sawyer, a research analyst and policy analyst for a Grace Water and Energy program, it takes almost 1,800 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef over a cow's lifetime. 1 pound of pork takes nearly 600 gallons. That's in contrast to soybeans that only require 200 gallons of water per pound, and corn, which is only 100 gallons. According to a study by the National Academy of Sciences, it took close to 157 metric tons of food to feed the livestock in the U.S. alone. The point is, it takes a ton of resources to feed these animals. These are consumables we could use and take the pressure off the environment. Speaking of the environment, my final point will be the effect these livestock, specifically cattle, have on the environment. According to the EPA, 9% of the greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. come from agriculture. In case you haven't heard, cows produce methane that adds to these emissions. According to Sarah Place, the Senior Director of Sustainable Beef Production Research, cows only make about 2% of the total greenhouse gases in the U.S. Only. Sarah works for the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, a contractor for the beef checkoff, so we can trust what she says. For instance, for an article in Green Biz, she drops a bombshell that's actually cow birth, not poops or farts, that cause the most methane in cattle. As if that matters. Good diversion, Sarah. That's 2% of methane emissions come from cattle in the U.S. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't add some contrasting viewpoints. Meet Dr. Richard Berman, otherwise known as Dr. Evil. Notable conquests of Mr. Berman are campaigns against animal welfare groups, labor unions, and mothers against drunk driving. Berman is funded by industries these groups threaten, such as big tobacco mogul Philip Morris. What he does is he creates independent, unbiased think tanks that conduct research that will benefit his clientele. So now that we hate Mr. Berman, let's discuss his latest venture against the plant-based burger, specifically the Impossible Burger. He calls the new burger from Burger King ultra-processed dog food. Now, he's not saying it will kill us, not that dog food would, only that it's not better for you than meat. The interesting thing is he's absolutely correct. If you're trying to eat healthy, why would you go to Burger King? It just doesn't make sense. The hardest part about a plant-based diet isn't just not eating meat, it's eating the right plants. That is fresh, unprocessed, natural whole foods. So, in conclusion, I'm not suggesting eliminating all livestock is going to save the economy or be better for business overnight. I'm only proposing limiting our intake of meat and dairy. The Earth rises another 1 degree Celsius in the next 35 years as predicted, half of the world will be underwater. How much is that going to cost businesses? But that's a speech for another day. Thank you. My name is Mark Brown. Have a wonderful day.